Good morning, I'm Kenneth Moten.
And I'm Kaylee Hartung. Here are the 5 things you need to know this Wednesday, November 6th. Number 1, the election night results coming in overnight.
And Democrats are claiming a big night. The biggest story is from the governor's race in the red state of Kentucky, where Democrat Andy Beshear has declared victory over the incumbent Republican Matt Bevin, even though analysts say the race is still too close to call.
President Trump, who won Kentucky by 30 points in 2016, threw his support behind Bevin at a rally Monday. The Democrats say this race proves their momentum nationwide.
I haven't had an opportunity yet to speak to Governor Bevin, but my expectation is that he will honor the election that was held tonight, that he will help us make this transition. And I tell you what, we will be ready for that first day in office, and I look forward to it.
We are not conceding this race by any stretch. Not a chance. And here's the thing, understand this though, understand this, we want the process to be followed, and there is a process.
Governor Bevin would need to win court approval for a full recount. Meanwhile, responding to the results, President Trump's campaign said the president's rally Monday helped Bevin finish stronger than expected and helped 5 other Kentucky Republicans win their races.
It was a good night for Democrats in Virginia. They won control of both houses of the state legislature. That means Virginia will be under complete Democratic control for the first time in 25 years.
Good news for Republicans in Mississippi. Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves will take over the governor's mansion. He easily defeated his Democratic challenger.
Number 2, the impeachment battle in Washington and a new admission from one of the president's top advisors, Gordon Sondland.
And he was met by protesters overnight, arriving at the airport in Portland, Oregon. Sondland now says he, quote, did not change his testimony to acknowledge a quid pro quo in the Ukraine scandal.
But that seems at odds with a newly updated transcript of his testimony, in which he acknowledged that U.S. military aid was withheld from Ukraine until the Ukrainians promised to investigate President Trump's political rivals.
On to number 3, the American family massacred in Mexico. We're hearing news stories of survival.
9 members of a Mormon family were killed on their way to a wedding, including 3 women and 6 children. Officials suspect a drug cartel and a case of mistaken identity.
Many other members of the family were saved by the actions of a 13-year-old boy who helped hide several of his siblings behind a tree, using branches to cover them while he walked 14 miles to get help. We've also learned of a dying mother who hid her baby under a seat inside their SUV to escape the attackers, who remain on the run.
We head to Florida for number 4, where a sheriff's deputy is charged with child abuse after a video showed him grabbing this 15-year-old girl by the neck, slamming her to the ground.
Broward County Deputy Willard Miller has also been suspended without pay. The incident came after the girl appeared to kick him. It happened at a school for children with emotional and behavioral issues.
And finally, number 5, the raging debate right now. How early is too early to play nonstop Christmas music on the radio?
A station in Chicago has already started playing the holiday hits. They started yesterday, November 5th. Critics are slamming the station for rushing the season.
Others say it's never too early, and with 6 fewer shopping days between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, the station may be doing us all a favor, getting us in the mood early. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, feel free, and tell us what you think about these dancing Santas as well. Good morning.
Get to that big story.
Yeah.
Oh, or do we need to say some good mornings?
No.
No.
We don't.
Let's just get right to that.
Get right to it.
Big story. The impeachment battle in Washington, that is, and a new admission from one of the president's top ambassadors, Gordon Sondland. He was met by protesters overnight, arriving at the airport in Portland, Oregon. Sondland now says he, quote, did not change his testimony to acknowledge a quid pro quo in the Ukraine scandal. But that seems at odds with a newly updated transcript of his testimony. ABC's Karina Mitchell has the new details. Karina.
Hey, Kaylee, good morning to you. It was a stunning reversal by one of President Trump's loyal supporters, and it came in a 4-page statement telling lawmakers his memory was, quote, refreshed, and that he personally delivered the message President Trump allegedly sought to send to Ukraine. For the first time, Gordon Sondland revising his testimony, confirming a quid pro quo linked to Ukraine, announcing a public investigation into President Trump's political rivals in exchange for $400 million in military aid. Sondland adding the public statement would need to come directly from Ukrainian President Zelensky himself. In his original testimony, Sondland denied any preconditions to aid when asked. The president has used the testimony in his defense.
The ambassador, who I heard was tremendous and a tremendous person. He was 100% for what we're saying, 100%. And if you look, he also said there was no quid pro quo. That's the whole ballgame.
But Sondland says he was just repeating what the president told him on a phone call. And now he says his memory was refreshed by other key witnesses who contradicted his initial statements.
It's never too late to do the right thing. People want to keep coming forward, telling us the truth. We'll welcome it.
Tell the truth.
Arriving back in Portland overnight, the ambassador was met by protesters chanting, "Tell the truth."
Didn't change my testimony, but
the White House dismissing Sondland's reversal.
The transcripts that were released today show exactly what the president has been saying all along, and that is that he did nothing wrong.
In a statement, the White House argues the transcripts show even less evidence for impeachment than previously thought. Now, House Democrats have requested acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney to appear for a deposition on Friday. But his testimony, like others this week, will likely be blocked by the White House. Kaylee?
Thanks so much, Karina.
And Karina, before you leave us, remind us why investigators believe it's important to hear from Mick Mulvaney.
Yeah, well, Mulvaney is Trump's acting chief of staff, so he has an intimate knowledge of the inner workings of the White House, including the withholding of military aid to Ukraine. You may remember in that briefing last month, he admitted to a quid pro quo, saying, quote, "We do that all the time with foreign policy," before walking back that admission in a statement.
Karina, we really appreciate it.
All right, we turn now to the other big story this morning, the massacre in Mexico. An American family slaughtered on the way to a wedding.
This morning, new stories of survival are emerging. 9 members of the same family were ambushed and killed just across the border from Arizona. But a quick-thinking teenager is now being credited with saving several of his siblings, hiding them in bushes along the road.
And we've now learned one infant was found alive after she was hidden under the seat of a vehicle that came under attack. This morning, stories of heroism and survival after the deadly ambush on an American family in Mexico. The group was traveling by caravan, picking up family members for a wedding, when they were attacked by a drug cartel in what officials call an apparent case of mistaken identity. 9 members of the Mormon family were killed, including 3 mothers and 6 of their children. 2 of them were twin infants. This morning, relatives say a 7-month-old baby named Faith is alive, thanks to a final selfless act by her mother.
I don't know if Christina, in her last moments of life, saves her daughter by laying her down on the floorboard.
Baby Faith was found alive hours after the attack.
They think that maybe the mother tried to put the child on the floor or under the seat in some way to save her life.
Meanwhile, a 13-year-old boy is credited with saving several members of the family. Relatives say the teen hit 6 of his siblings after their mother was shot and killed, and then walked 14 miles to get help.
He basically saw that cartel shooting. There were like 60 people shooting at them from all over the mountains around. And the little kid decided to get the kids away from where they were shooting and go into the bushes. That was courageous.
Mexican officials say the women's 3 SUVs may have been mistaken by rival drug gangs. The family is part of a religious settlement in Sonora State, a section of northern Mexico known for its drug violence tied to organized crime. ABC's Tom Llamas is in Mexico.
I asked a former Mexican intelligence officer why these vicious criminals would shoot and kill innocent women and children. His chilling response, because they can. He says they are the law in that section of Mexico.
President Trump addressed the ambush, saying Mexico, with the help of the United States, must wage war on the drug cartels. Mexico's president responded, saying he's grateful for Trump's offer, but says his country will move forward alone. We are thinking about those victims this morning, and family members who survived the attack are now being treated at a hospital in Arizona. In other news, a Pennsylvania woman is facing charges for a fake cancer scam.
Jessica Ann Smith claims she had severe colon cancer and needed help. The 31-year-old allegedly collected more than $10,000 using GoFundMe and Facebook. First an acquaintance and then her own husband reported her to the police.
The families who say they were the victims of racism at a Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant in Illinois are speaking out. Justin Vale and his family requested a table for 18. He says the host asked for the race of the group, allegedly because another customer did not want to be seated near black people. Some of the children cried as their parents spoke at a news conference Tuesday.
I was appalled. I was astonished. I was in a restaurant trying to take my family, our friends and kids to a restaurant, and I was being asked what race I was.
To see them try to understand it's hurtful, right? Because that's something they shouldn't have to do. You look at these boys, and they're all different. And they need to know that's okay.
Buffalo Wild Wings apologized and fired the employees involved, and that customer has been banned for life.
Lawmakers in Los Angeles want new directions for apps like Google Maps and Waze. They say traffic shortcuts provided by those apps are clogging up residential streets. Some cars have been rerouted onto block roads. City officials considered banning the apps. Now they're asking for changes to keep cars away from streets that don't usually carry heavy traffic.
I just saw the video there of the cars just like on the curbs, sidewalks.
And if there's any city in America where you need the Waze app, it's LA.
Definitely LA, right? AT&T has been fined $60 million for misleading millions of customers with unlimited data plans. The fine settles a Federal Trade Commission complaint that said the company did not clearly tell customers their web browsing speed would be slowed down significantly if they use a certain amount of data. Millions of customers will get partial refunds.
An incredible video here shows an officer saving an Illinois home from a fire. Moline police officer Stephen Murphy was patrolling the neighborhood when the August 911 call came in. Officer Murphy grabbed the fire extinguisher from his car, rushed inside, and put out the flames. It all happened less than a minute after the emergency call.
Good work by him. And in Wisconsin, a home outside Milwaukee is no longer on the edge. The house had been dangling off a cliff over Lake Michigan since last year when its deck fell off. Parts of the foundation and basement fell into the lake last month. Crews demolished the home yesterday. And for the first time, drones have been used to deliver prescriptions to customers.
UPS says it made 2 deliveries for a CVS pharmacy in a Raleigh suburb. One was to a private home, the other to a retirement community. The drones didn't land, but they hovered about 20 feet in the air and lowered the boxes to the ground carefully. An operator did monitor the flights.
And that's our question of the day. Do you want your packages delivered by drone? Prescriptions, groceries,
toilet paper,
alcohol,
household products.
Whatever you like. Would you like to get a drone delivery? Be the first in your area, perhaps.
I live in an apartment building, so in New York City, I don't know how that would
So
work.
the drone would come right outside your window.
Oh, well, if that's
And then
an option.
just like
I don't even
hand you the
think I can
package.
open my windows, so I don't.
Oh, that's true. It's New York. But let us know what you think in the comments or tweet us at ABC News Live. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, and coming up, the new way to get your 15 minutes of fame. The hot new popular app that's taking over social media and why it's raising red flags in Washington.
Plus, the football cat gone viral has some new feline fans. More after this.
Hey, and welcome back. You know, millions of social media users are going gaga over that brand new app that they hope will give them that thing that they love. Applause, applause, applause.
But is there a dark side and even a threat to your personal data lingering behind those short and punchy videos? Here's ABC's Will Reeve.
It's all part of a new digital landscape built one snappy video at a time. If you haven't heard of TikTok, you're not alone.
For all the moms out there, what is TikTok?
Rolly, rolly, rolly.
Reese Witherspoon needed a tutorial from her 16-year-old son, Deacon, to become a TikToker.
Now look at me.
She's just one of the millions of people who've discovered the app. Ariel Martin, aka Baby Ariel, has mastered the terrain of TikTok, perfecting the art of lip syncing to songs like All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Who let the dogs out?
Or Who Let the Dogs Out, and creating innovative performance art.
Let's talk numbers. How big are you?
How big am I? I hate talking about numbers. I have 29 million on TikTok.
How does that make you feel?
I guess it's a beautiful thing, and I just want to express love and positivity and as much as I possibly can.
She was one of the first to build a following on the platform back when it was still known as Musical.ly. She moved from Florida to California as her TikTok fame opened doors for her in Hollywood. She's just landed a role in Disney Channel's Zombies 2.
Ready?
And is launching a music career.
It's going to be my first look now.
She's directing herself in her cover of Lou Reed's Walk on the Wild Side.
Hey girl,
An ode to acceptance.
hey, take a walk on the wild side.
I want to direct movies one day. That's like my main goal. That's where I want to be in a few years.
So much of the content on TikTok is created by teenagers in their bedrooms that intimacy and exposure could be fertile ground for ogling eyes and predatory comments. TikTok says it's working to keep its young users safe and just released these videos made by popular creators showing how to do things like filter comments, block people, or report inappropriate content. TikTok is adamant that the platform is a joyful place, but it is not immune to the perils of the digital world. As reported in the Wall Street Journal, TikTok recently had to take down anonymous accounts linked to ISIS. They're just the latest social media company targeted by the terror group. TikTok deleted the videos and permanently banned the accounts, adding, quote, content promoting terrorist organizations has absolutely no place on TikTok. And the company itself, which is owned by Chinese artificial intelligence startup ByteDance, is now being investigated by Congress over allegations of censorship and improper data collection and storage. TikTok would not answer our questions on camera about this, instead referring us to this statement on their website by TikTok's U.S. General Manager. At TikTok, we have no higher priority than earning and preserving the trust of our users, partners, and regulators. We store all U.S. user data in the United States with backup redundancy in Singapore. The company adding that China does not control the content of TikTok in the United States. Our U.S. team makes decisions that we see as best for the U.S. market, and we are given the independence to do so. None of this is scaring away the droves of teens and young adults who are flocking to TikTok, hoping to reach the same heights as creators like Baby Ariel, who's blazing her own path in this new digital world.
Well done.
You killed it.
I'm Will Reeve in Los Angeles.
Will Reeve, I'm getting down there. He's like 6 foot something.
Right? When do we get to see that TikTok video?
I want to see that one. Thanks to Will Reeve again. And now let's check our notifications, starting with that viral black cat on Monday Night Football and its biggest fans apparently watching from home. Look at these videos of other felines saying, that's our friend.
Hey, go for the touchdown. Go, go.
Look, cats just want to see other cats on TV because representation matters.
Absolutely, although the cat on the field was quite
Oh, no, and the dogs were like having it. Get off that field, cat. Get off that field. The dog was like, Oh, that one's even more hilarious.
The dog video is way better than the cat video.
I agree. They do not like that cat.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Hey, we have a new world record.
World record!
I didn't know this was a thing anybody was competing for, but a jewelry company made this $1.3 million gilded toilet. Yes, that's a toilet, complete with a bulletproof seat coated with diamonds, if you can believe it or not, breaking the record for most diamonds in a toilet. My question is, what was the previous record?
My question is, who's shooting in a toilet?
There's a lot of questions that could be asked here.
Yeah.
A lot of things I can think to do with diamonds other than sit on them.
Well, the toilet will match what you're putting in it, so at least number one.
We're gonna move on to a group of fishermen who made a life-saving catch in the waters off of Maine. You just won't believe who they caught.
They caught a deer. Swimming 5 miles from shore, the men spotted the animal off the coast of Addison. They managed to grab it by its antlers and legs, dragged it into their boat, and took it to shore. Once they were sure it was safe, they went back out to catch more lobsters. Lobsters.
I bet they did. I bet they caught a bunch of lobsters right there off the coast of Maine. Do you remember that Virginia woman who lost her job? She gave that one-finger salute to the president.
I do remember that. The motorcade was going by.
And she's now flashing a victory sign.
2 years ago, Julie Briskman made an obscene gesture toward President Trump's motorcade as she was biking past the line of SUVs. A picture of the moment went viral, and her employer, a federal contractor, told her that she needed to resign. Last night, Briskman won a seat on the Board of Supervisors in Loudoun County, beating the incumbent Republican for the spot. Well, there you go. And a rising social media star is saying thank you for being a friend again and again and again in his quest to meet 10,000 brand new friends.
It may seem weird, but Rob Lawless is using Instagram to forge friendships with people offline. And our own Will Gans was number 2,956.
Rob, Hi. Rob Lawless has a lot of friends. Pizza makers in Canada, musicians in LA, acro yogis in Philly, and everyone in between. That's because Rob's a man on a mission, which he calls Rob's 10K Friends.
I always say Rob's 10K Friends is my mission to spend 1 hour one-on-one with 10,000 different people to see what comes of opening doors for no particular reason.
During his meetings, Rob doesn't write anything down or take any physical notes. But afterwards, he manages to write a quote and a brief bio about each of his new friends.
Are there certain people who stand out in your mind that you were like, wow, I'll remember this person forever?
The guy that I always talk about, I met this guy, Chris, and when he was 16, he was living in Romania, but he actually came here to go boating on the Hudson with some friends. So he fell off of the boat and was actually run over by it, given a 12% chance of walking again and a 15% chance of living. And he beat both those odds. I just think about him a lot because it shaped in my mind what a problem is versus an inconvenience.
The project also presenting Rob with some unexpected life experiences of his own. A San Diego pilot offering to have his meeting with Rob in an airplane.
We drove to the plane and he joked with me, he said, it's amateur built so you don't have to fly in it if you don't want. And that was when I learned that he had literally built the plane himself.
And you went?
I went, yeah. Our hour spent getting to know each other was flying over the coast of San Diego.
Ages 5 to 98, strangers setting up meetings with Rob via Instagram, his website, or the old-fashioned way, being referred by a friend, which is how Hunter Thomas came across Rob's page.
I think it's a great concept, and I'm always up for meeting someone new and making new friends, so it was neat to be a part of it.
What started as a passion project when Rob worked in consulting has turned into his full-time gig.
It's been a lot of building it where I could do it in the cheapest manner. A lot of getting to the point of almost meeting 3,000 people was relying on my resources and the people who I'm close with who are willing to be generous to me.
Until companies began noticing Rob's work.
As the project has picked up, both in terms of an audience and in terms of press pieces, I've started to have more conversations. Like, I don't think 2 years ago I would have been able to knock on the door of WeWork and have them listen to me, or Penn Medicine.
So, in terms of finances, are you fully supporting yourself with the project?
I'm building to it.
Rob saying that eventually maybe the project will turn into a speaking gig at companies and schools. For now, though,
would you say the project has made your world bigger or smaller?
Smaller, for sure. I think when you're walking past people who you recognize and whose backstories you know, it just makes everything feel like home.
What is the best thing about the project?
I'm starting to see people take on their own initiatives of meeting new people. And I like that the project has this air of good to it. If 10 people are trying to meet 10 new people this year as a result of it, and they have a good experience, maybe 20 will do that next year. There's a lot of talk about loneliness driven by social media and driven by technology. And if I can have a small footprint in changing that, that is something I'd be really proud of.
Rob thinks it'll be about 10 more years before he's able to wrap up the project. But in the meantime, if you'd like to use your social media to take a break from social media, you can schedule a meeting with Rob by reaching out to him on his Instagram. His handle is Rob's 10K Friends.
I want to be his 3,000th. I want to be a whole number.
Oh.
But he's probably already gotten that now that we've done the story.
Yeah, right. If he's meeting with 3 people a day.
Oh, that's true. Maybe call Will, find out. Coming up, what's happening in the impeachment probe today, and a new airport opens. We'll tell you where.
Plus, Queen Latifah belts it out as Ursula in The Little Mermaid Live. You will want to hear this if you didn't see it last night, so stay with us.
This one wants to get the girl, and do I help them? Yes, indeed.
So here's what to watch out for today. President Trump is scheduled to give remarks on judicial confirmations before heading to a Keep America Great rally in Monroe, Louisiana.
Meanwhile, Melania Trump is set to visit the Boston Medical Center's CALM program for neonatal abstinence syndrome. The First Lady will meet with staff and patients to discuss the hospital's work assisting pregnant women with substance use disorder.
A top State Department official, David Hale, is expected to tell investigators about the department's reaction to President Trump's removal of the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. 2 other officials are expected to snub their scheduled depositions.
A Texas bishop who has been pleading to halt the execution of death row inmate Rodney Reed will hold a press conference this afternoon. Reed is scheduled to be executed in less than a month, but maintains his innocence. Reed's family and legal team say new developments in the case exonerate him.
And the old Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport is now a thing of the past. The new $1.3 billion terminal opens today.
Plus, don't forget to tune into the debrief for an update on all our top stories in the briefing room for a breakdown of the latest headlines in politics. Finally, from us on this Wednesday morning, we're still loving the live presentation of The Little Mermaid. It's been 30 years since the animated movie first made a splash on the big screen. Last night, ABC went back under the sea. The Little Mermaid Live, a special presentation including live performances of the movie's musical numbers. In some cases, the onstage performances matched the movie shot for shot.
And the star who made the most waves? Queen Latifah, who played Ursula.
For unfortunate souls in pain, in need. This one longing to be thinner, this one wants to get the girl, and do I help them? Yes, indeed. Those poor unfortunate souls.
Queen Latifah tweeted out this video of her backstage. She needed a team to wipe down her tentacles for optimum shine.
One fan tweeted, okay, so it's official, Queen Latifah is an actual goddess.
Fact.
Also backstage after the show, Aluli Carvalho saying playing Ariel was life-changing. She did an incredible, a beautiful job. Look at that. It was just a fantastic job.
Really, a spectacular event and done in a way that nothing has really been done before. That 360 immersive experience that they wanted for everyone.
And they did a great job again, except for
There he is, Shaggy right there.
Where was his claws?
No claws.
No claws.
They were all in the audience. Every audience member had claws, but the crab didn't have any.
He's like, it wasn't me.
There you go. You wanted to get that one in one more time today.
Well, thank you for being a part of our world here on This Morning America. That's it for us.
It is. Have a great day.